Pinterest SEO marketing tutorial, Google search indexing. I feel so good to be here in the Pinterest and SEO marketing house on Clubhouse. I don't think I've been here for the last 3 years. I know you're probably going to be here yourself, but I also hope you are enjoying and having a good day. For those who are here, I'm excited that you'll be here with me for the next couple of minutes. We don't know how long this will take. I feel like it should be 30 minutes because I don't want to overtake the information I want to give you because there's so many things I want to say. I actually have a list of 15 topics, to go through with this. So we're going to definitely dive into this today. Welcome, Rika, Melissa, Dr. Jen, Coach Z. Thanks for being here. Lisa, Renee, appreciate you for being here today in the room. And if you have any questions about anything, please put it in the chat or raise your hand. Hey, Dr. Jen, good to see you again. How are you?
Forward to this room. I've been interested in Pinterest, but have no idea whatsoever how to use it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. What do you use Pinterest for on the personal side? And then what would you want to use Pinterest for on the business side?
I know this is going to be blasphemy to you. I do not like social media. It's never been my thing. However, I do understand the value of it and I want to use it in an effective way to where I don't have to be overrun by it because it just doesn't feel good to me. Pinterest, from what I understand is, and I heard some of it from you, but I've heard it from other sources as well, that there's a whole world of Pinterest that goes on living forever and ever, basically, that I want to tap into. And one of the examples, if you don't mind me sharing very quickly, is I have a friend who's an author, and I've been following her for like 15 years. And I've watched her build, I've just watched her build her business to where she took like 2 poetry books that she had written, and she does intensives and creative and writing, and she makes an incredible income, and she's doing what she loves to do, her passion. And a huge part of that was not her Facebook, was not her Instagram, but it was her Pinterest account. So I am all ears, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jen. You're right, 100%. Pinterest is a place that you can love content and don't feel like you're being sold to, you're being pushed into doing things that you didn't plan to for the day. Because Pinterest actually is one of the least, in fact, it is the least swiped ad platform. The most swipe ad platform is YouTube. So just imagine from YouTube, you always want to skip ad. You're waiting for those 5 seconds to load or 30 seconds to skip, and then you skip it. You don't even care about what the ad is. You're just waiting for the time ticker to drop to 0. So that usually is YouTube's experience because people pay YouTube TV so they can skip ads, literally. So they would rather pay to skip it. Same thing with Spotify. With Pinterest, you are in a search engine world. So I love that you mentioned something about social media. Social media is great. When you look at Pinterest, even the topic for today, Pinterest SEO marketing tutorial, Google search indexing. Hey, Holly, thanks for being here too. Google and Pinterest are together. Google search and Pinterest search are together. Thank you for the love, Holly. Because Google is technically a search engine that is on the web. And Pinterest is a search engine that is for images. So there's a difference between Pinterest and Google. When you go to Google Images, you technically see Pinterest. You will see a YouTube thumbnail. You would see a blog thumbnail. That's Pinterest. So Pinterest, I don't even look at Pinterest as a search social media platform where you can go to social media, search for what you want on TikTok or Instagram or LinkedIn. That's great. But on Pinterest, especially the business side of Pinterest, which is business.pinterest.com, that's where you get your business insights. You claim your website, just like you claim your Google account, you can claim your business account on Pinterest. Those things are very important. Welcome, Bree. Because when you look at your content consistently on Pinterest, like you said, you have to keep constantly posting. You don't have to constantly post on Pinterest. On Pinterest, most people use it for ads. and you can use it for ads very well. Like you can spend about 2 cents to 30 cents and get way more than you could be spending $1, $2 on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, because the platform is so unsaturated that people actually love to see ads because they don't see ads every day compared to YouTube where you can see ads almost every 30 minutes. So if you look at the difference between the two, you'd rather be on Pinterest as a business than being on than being on search, I'll call it social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yes, it's good to have them. Don't get me wrong. They're great platforms to be. But like you said, Dr. Jin, it takes consistency and typing and commenting and showing up and posting, and that could be tedious for some people. That's why some
Yeah,
people hire
right.
them out, right?
So one thing that I'm not, like when you Google her name right now, if you were to Google her name, what you would see is her Pinterest. All of the because and she's on on Instagram. She has I don't know, close to 1 million followers now, but she has like I don't even know how many posts she has, but the ones that show up first are Pinterest. Why is that?
There's a reason behind it, and majorly it's because of her website. And Lisa is asking in the chat, what is her name? If you can say it.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know if you're
absolutely.
allowed to,
She's
but you
a
can.
poet. Her name is Victoria Erickson.
Texas. So this is important. And I love that you asked this question, Dr. Jen. And I'm coming to you to Melissa, because any question today, please ask me as well. When you look at social media and you look at search engines, they're so different from each other. So different from each other, because Google is where you are building authority. You can't even be on ChatGPT if you're not on Google. You can't be on Reddit specifically if you're thinking about ranking for a specific term. Your website has to be interconnected. So why she's making great strides with Pinterest, Dr. Jin, is because she has done two things. Even without me looking at her account, I know she's done two things. The first thing that she has done is she's claimed her website. Now, when you post on social media, that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, the rest of them. When you post on social media, you don't own the content. You control it, but you don't own it. So that's what they call as second party data acquisition. So first party data acquisition is your website, is your book, is your podcast. That's what you own and that's what you control. Social media, you do not own it unless you own a Facebook or a Meta or a Pinterest or a LinkedIn. That's fine, right? Because when you look at Pinterest on the personal side, it's social media, because people have a Pinterest account to pin stuff, to save stuff, to comment, to screenshot ideas, because you would do the same thing on TikTok. But on the business side, it changes completely, because on Pinterest, you own 100% of that data. If you were to post content on Pinterest personal, you don't own it because you don't own the platform. You can control it so it will act as a social media account for you. But on Pinterest, when you claim your account, and how do you claim your account? You go to your settings section. There's a section on the left that says claimed accounts. You can also claim your Instagram account on Pinterest. So the last 365 days that you posted, let's say you posted 52 times last year, once for every week. Now, that 365-day calendar is going to be transmitted off of Instagram into your Pinterest. So what happens is anything that you post on Pinterest, whether it's your website, whether it's I will call it a user-generated content, anything that's going to be focused on that specific type of media will be coming into your account 100%. So let's say you go to TikTok, you get user-generated content, you don't own it, you just copy, and then you put it there. Now, when you do that, you still own 100%. And it's even better when you credit the person that you've taken it from, just so that you have that authenticity and that transparency. When you do that consistently, more people will be able to find your content organically, because it's a Pinterest search engine. And within the search engine, it's very visual. So people are very visual. When they like something, they see something, they're going to go for it. So the first thing is she claimed her account. The second thing that she did is potentially she was posting content on there or running ads. It's either organic or paid. And Pinterest is the only platform that I know that gives you earned media. Everything else is shared media, organic media, or
What does
paid
that
media.
mean, if you don't mind me asking?
Earned media. So earned media means that if you paid for an ad, and let's just role play. So if I paid for an ad and then Dr. Jean, you saw it, and then let's say Melissa also saw it. Now, if Melissa saves that pin that she saw and you don't save the pin that you saw, Dr. Jean, and let's say 3 months later, Melissa comes back to Pinterest and then goes to that same saved board where she saved your pin, you're earning impressions, you're earning media time, you're earning watch time, because that ad that they saw, or the ad Melissa saw, for example, was not seen in an organic feed. It was seen in a paid feed. It's kind of like looking at your Instagram and you see an ad. Let's say you're scrolling, you see an ad, you save it. On LinkedIn, you save it. That save is happening on the platform, but it's not earned because you're not getting that direct feedback compared to Pinterest, where it will even show you, your earned impressions. It will show you the number. It will give you your gross number of impressions, the unfiltered version, and then it will give you the filtered version of your Pinterest, which will now be your earned media. So when you look at earned media or earned impressions, it's after you've paid for a service, after you've paid for an ad, and you're still reaping the benefits. I would call them dividends if I put in social currency value, where you spend $20 a day, $5 a day, $1 a day, X amount of dollars a day. But the day you stop running those ads, you're still benefiting from those ads that you spent or that media that you spent on. So it's a really good thing that people don't see, but that allows you to know how valuable it is. Just to even give you some insights on this, the lifespan of an Instagram post is about 19 to 72 hours on a good day. Compare that to Pinterest, where it's 3.5 to 5 months per pin. So you're literally thinking about every pin.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's a no-brainer. So if you post content on your website, publish it, and there's a good thing that happens too with Pinterest, that you can actually add your Pinterest content back into Pinterest from your website. So you've claimed your website. That was the first thing. Once you've claimed your website, and how do you claim it? You have to add the code. There's going to be a TXT code that you'll be given, and you add that code to your DNS, your domain name server, where you bought your domain for your website, because you're claiming your website, which is your property for Pinterest. So once you claim that, the next thing that will happen is, once you have that, I would say, claimed, now it means you own 100%. Then if you start running ads, you can start putting Pinterest tags on your website. For those who use LinkedIn, it's good to have a LinkedIn Insight tag. If you don't have that, please add it. You can Google it and find it and add it. But Pinterest is a great place, because once you start spending money on Pinterest, that's it. You start realizing that you start growing and growing and growing over time. And usually it's about 14 days that you want to give it some time to load. And then after 14 days, on the 15th day, that's when it actually really kicks off. And you could be making sales in the 4th month. Even though you've been spending all day, every day, it could happen. We have a client that they sell power tools, outdoor power tools. And it's kind of like an alternative to Hobby Lobby. And they're very specific. They're in California, and they're also in Nevada. And they have about 4 or 5 locations. And they started on Pinterest we started with them around October. And we started running ads in October, started like boosting commercials, making sure that people get to know what it is, because Pinterest is very local. And I love Pinterest because you can run ads by zip code. So I said, okay, we're going to take all these 5 locations and do a 5 to 35 mile radius, and start figuring out who exactly is needing these products. They might go to ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google, Siri, but Pinterest in a way is going to also find them too, because it's connected to their website. So we were spending about $50 a day. We bumped it up to $100 a day. We took it back down to $50 a day. And this was in the first 3 months. Of course, they're making sales on Amazon. They're making sales in stores. They're making sales on their website, but they were not making anything coming from Pinterest. So we kept going. And one day I had a call with them, because we normally meet on Thursdays. And I had a call with them. This was This was in January. So October, December, November, December, January. Yeah, 4 months. So in January, we had a call. And that call was very exciting because he now told me, hey, guess what? We had a 16K day. I said, what? So $16,000 was I would say transacted that just one day. And they've been spending what, $50 a day for the last 30 days, 60 days. So imagine making all that you made back plus more because you're on Pinterest and you have direct traffic into Google. So just imagine what you're doing with your content. And I even asked them, do you know these people? Do you know the people who purchase from you? They're like, we don't know the people. So that in itself was already a win because you can say, yeah, my best friend bought it. My cousin bought it. My brother, my sister bought it, but nobody knows who this person is. But they were found on the internet, and that's how they were able to be, found based on trust. So it's not just about being on Pinterest or just showing up on the platform. It's majorly how do you use Pinterest as a way to show your authority in your niche. Because when you start getting new followers on Instagram, new followers on Google, new signups, it's because Pinterest has become part of your ecosystem. And because it's a search engine, it even gives you an advantage. Because if Google trusts your website, Pinterest will trust your website. If your website trusts Google, your website will trust Pinterest because of those codes in between. So it's a lot, but I hope this makes sense, Dr. Jane, and then I'll come to you,
No, is it okay
Melissa.
if I ask a question real quick? So I heard you say that it's a search engine. So Instagram, Facebook, they're not search engines, but Pinterest is. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, I will be. If you want to call it a
That
spade,
makes everything so much, yeah, that makes everything, it just makes everything click better. Thank you.
yes, quote unquote, within the API of the platform. Like you can go to Facebook and hit the search bar. You can go to LinkedIn, hit the search bar. You can go to TikTok, hit the search bar. But that search is not within, I can say, the outer layer of the platform. Anything that you search on that platform is going to happen within. But if you search on Google, if you search on Pinterest, if you search on YouTube, people may say, oh yeah, YouTube is a social media platform. I look at it as a search engine because Google bought YouTube. And now if you're using, let's say, ChatGPT Atlas, which is a ChatGPT browser, you can download it on your Mac. If you download that and you look for information in the section of the ChatGPT Atlas, you're going to get YouTube results. That's coming from Google. So everything we're doing today is around Google. Even Gemini. Gemini is actually becoming one of the top most referred to AI search engines. Yes, there's Claude. We love Claude. We love Perplexity. We love ChatGPT. But Gemini is also taking a big portion of that. And if you're not on Gemini, it technically means you're not on Google. It technically means you're not on YouTube. It also technically could mean you're not on Pinterest. So that's the effect and that's the cost that could actually lead you off of the platform. So it's very good to look into that. Very good question, Dr. Jin. That was very helpful. Thank you for that. Melissa, we'd love to hear from you too. Welcome to the room. And do you have a question, contribution? We'd love to hear from you. The floor is yours. Melissa, if you're speaking, you're muted. Well, so I'm glad that we're talking about this today, guys. And if you have a question, please put it in the chat. This will help me help you, help us make this a better conversation today. And of course, if you have a question, raise your hand and I'll bring you up on stage so we can talk. What's up, Tuna? How are you? Welcome to the room. And if you have a question, please feel free. If you have a comment, please make it.
Good morning, Flavor from Dubai. Sorry, I was all thumbs trying to post my question into the chat when you invited me up, and thank you for having me. I guess my question was, are SEO guys looking at WebMCP as part of their AI piece for being able to optimize and have their clients found through AI?
Great question. I actually saw something like this on, it was on my LinkedIn today or yesterday. And for people who are wondering what is an MCP is a model context protocol. And you can Google that. But just to your question, Tuna, this is very important because I got to see something which made a lot of sense. And when it comes to AI, visibility, servers, logs, backlinks, all these technical setups within the API and the LLMs, one thing I do know for sure is that I wouldn't say it has a direct impact, but it could also be impacted by AI. So one thing I noticed is that AI right now, artificial intelligence, of course, they're sourcing data from Reddit, from Wikipedia, from Pinterest, from LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is Microsoft. But also, here's another thing that actually got my attention. Hostinger is a hosting platform, and AI is also sourcing or looking for resources within the Hostinger platform, or within the Hostinger hosting platform, hostinger.com. That told me a lot without even saying a lot, because that told me that if people are using Hostinger, they technically are using WordPress. And if there are 1.1 billion websites in the world, and there are 43% of websites that use WordPress, then where are most people using their websites for hosting? Of course, it's not only Hostinger, there's GoDaddy, there are other platforms too. But majorly, when it comes to this MPC server and thinking about how it's going to show up online, I don't think it's going to have a direct impact. But in the end, it could also have a direct impact too, because of course, right now we can't say AI, we don't know what the future holds. Only God does. But what we can tell, what we can perceive, what we can see through, then we know that there's going to be a big deal when it comes to automation, web tasks at scale, and also using it in a way to understand the volume of data that we're going to be receiving. Why am I saying this? Google just released their public discover core update, and they did that for a reason. So if you can see that if your let's say your crawl budget was about 15 megabytes, it has now been dropped to 2 megabytes. That means after 2 megabytes, it stops running your data. So when we start looking at MCPs, and I was thinking about music, MPC with the MIDI keyboard. With MCP servers, it's going to change a lot of the way people are going to be using the internet. But at the same time, when I think about where we're going with browsers, that might just change, Tuna. That might just be a different thing. So I can't say yes or no, but what I will say is that it's definitely going to have an impact, because the way people are using their websites and how it's showing up in real time, data wise, for crawling purposes, for automation purposes, is going to have a big effect on where we're going. Because who knows, by 2030, 2040, God willing, we might not even be using the original traditional browsers we're using. We might be using agentic browsers. We might be using super intelligent browsers. So that time could come. So right now, I can't say, but for sure, it's going to have an impact. I hope that helps with the question.
Well, the standard that is put out for security testing at the moment by Google, on specifically WebMCP, this ability to turn your websites into something that the AIs can use as like the website being effectively its own MCP as a website. They say that they're bringing WebMCP in as a standard, as 67% of current Google searches don't result in a click. People are simply going to the AI preview, and that's a hell of a move from where we were even 5 years ago. The idea that you would search for something on Google and not click it, maybe you'd be looking for a spelling correction, or some of the inbuilt Easter eggs like currency conversion. But aside from that, 5 years ago, the idea of just doing a search and not clicking on any of the returned websites, it's a culture shift.
It definitely is. And I'm excited that it's happening, because if you really think about it, Google, I mean, if I think about it from a technical standpoint, if majority of the pages that are being scanned, crawled, indexed, served, or even ranked are not showing up on Google, or are not even being considered by a click, then it means that Google, even though they have, I think it's about 25 billion or 25 trillion worth of data in terms of database, They just have that sitting there. So that's why with AI, it's become even more important to have a website. Because if you're going to search something on Google and it is your text from your article that's showing up that somebody does not click on, that in itself is a brand, or I even call it I call it a non-brand, discovery, because you have your branded tags, you have your non-branded tags, and whatever AI mode is giving back to you is coming off of a website. So if that's your website, you still win because you have a citation, because you have credibility. So I feel like it's not going to have a big effect, even though, yes, people want to get clicks, clicks, clicks. But if my impressions are leading to people that actually get clicks, and then those impressions allow people to now discover me on ChatGPT or discover me on Cloud, then that's still a win. Just look at it this way too. If you have a website and let's say your most recent page throughout your whole sitemap, your most recent page was, let's say, January 2nd, 2024. That's your most recent page. Now, that's not going to be good for you in the long run because AI is looking for last modified content. And your website has last modification content. So if it's last modified, then that means the last time your page was scanned was the last time it was published. And that's what Google calls tokenization, kind of like a duplicate copy of the original. So your website is the original, Google has a copy, and Google has a lock, a date lock, or I can call it a timestamp or a date stamp. And it's saying that you last wrote this article on this date. So if somebody opens that article and clicks on it, it will see the last modified date there and the last published date there. If they're the same, then you're lucky that you got clicked on. But chances are it wouldn't happen for so long because there are billions of blogs that are being produced on a daily basis. So the best way I usually see this is to just write answers and also use multimedia content. Because for me, I'm heavy on audio. Because if I don't use audio, then it will have a completely different effect on I'll call it the rankings later. So if I use audio, video, text, and image, I'm way better off than somebody that does, image and web only. If somebody else does that plus more, great. But in our time today, I definitely feel like when we are writing content for search engines, we should be considering platforms like Pinterest. Because if we use Pinterest, we're going to grow exponentially. We have a client that we helped as well with Pinterest, and it was actually tremendous to see because when you go to the performance section on your Google Search Console, there's a section that says search type next to performance. So when you click performance, you'll see search type. You'll see web, you'll see image, you'll see video, you'll see news. So we helped a client move from about 11.4 million impressions, which they have now. Before they had about, let me see, I'm looking at their analytics right now, just to give you some context here, Rocky. Yeah, they had about 5.93 million impressions in the last 3 months. And now they have 11.4 million impressions in the last 3 months. So previous was 5.93 and now it's 11.4. Now, if I switch from web to image, thanks for the love, guys. Appreciate that. When I switch to image, now look at this. This is even crazier. We moved them from 54.1 million impressions. This is search type image because we're talking about Pinterest today. We moved them from 54.1 million impressions in the previous 3 months. And today, or in the last 3 months, we've moved them over 100 million impressions. So right now they have 154 million impressions in the last 3 months. So you tell me, where did Pinterest come into this picture? Because we inserted and we said in the last 3 months, let's focus on Pinterest. Let's make sure that our content is being seen. We had to connect the website to all the things I talked about today. All those things were added before we even saw these type of numbers. So when we look at this and we know that Google Images is technically Pinterest, then we're winning because we don't have to be clicked on. We just have to be seen. And then if what we're being shown is valuable, is credible, is consistent, and it's something that is actually visible and I can call it relevant to your day or to your search, then it's a win-win. But if it doesn't, then that calls for action, or that calls for, I can call it renovation. But looking at it from the difference between web and image, it's like night and day. 154 million impressions. Where do you get that with web? You can get that with web, but you will always get greater with image, because people with image are visual compared to people with text that skim through. So that was a great question, Tuna. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. And what's up, Rocky?
Oh,
Way, and I didn't want you to think I was in the room because I wasn't. I was trying to teach Lanita something on Clubhouse, and I was like, I hope they don't think I'm in here. I hate that Clubhouse does that, by the way. So if you saw me popping in and out, that's what I was doing. I apologize. Sorry, Dr. Jane, go ahead.
No, I was just saying hi. I want to ask a question, but if it's going away from what you're talking about, please say so. Yeah. So I'm starting from scratch. I wiped out my website, just everything. I'm starting from the beginning. When you are creating your own website, is there a certain platform that you feel is most effective? The one that I've been using, I don't feel is, and it's GoDaddy and Web Builder. But I'm looking at some others. One is, I can't even think of the name of it, Square or something. But what is your input on that, especially when it comes to SEO?
Ooh.
Because let me take it a little bit farther. With what I do, okay. Can I share a little bit of personal information, a little bit of my story for just a second? So
I
you have
love
it
the
clear?
stories.
All right. So my daddy he passed away from Alzheimer's, and before that, I decided to, when he was, during the period he was in the nursing home, what have you, I basically quit, gave everything up, and I had a solid business, but and I still have some clients. Retention is a thing. I have great client retention. However, it's getting those clients, and it's a completely different landscape from when I first began and built my initial business. And I'm a psychotherapist and hypnotherapist, all those things. So what I'm finding is, the ways that I traditionally would receive clients, it's not working any longer. So I'm looking at making sure that I have the right website and the SEO, because what I'm wanting to happen and what I've been researching, and that's why I'm just loving everything that you're saying. And I'm so glad that, what Rocky's doing as well, opening her rooms up again. Yay. It's because this is where I'm at right now. I want to, whatever people are typing into Google, search wherever, I want to tie into that to draw them to my website. However, I realize there are so many websites. So what's going to give me the best chance? That's the question.
Great question, Dr.
Google
Jen.
Search Console.
There you go.
I love y'all.
This is exciting. I love this. This is a good question, Dr. Jen. When you talked about GoDaddy, I was a little bit cringy. This is why. I love it. GoDaddy, Rocky's laughing. GoDaddy, honestly speaking, they would not be my go-to. And it's so funny that I'm even looking at it right now. I typed in, is GoDaddy a good website builder? GoDaddy themselves said, GoDaddy obviously is the go-to quote-unquote website builder.
It's awful.
I'm like, what is going on?
You can't move things around. Like, I'm a creative as well. You can't move anything around. It's awful.
It's terrible. And Holly got a jump. Oh, sorry, Holly. Okay, definitely. Thank you for being 3 last year. Yeah. And this is when I knew that, okay, I'm not gonna do this again with anyone that has GoDaddy. It's either we move you or we're not there. It just is, because we don't want to make our lives hard for you and make it harder when it's already hard enough. GoDaddy, and if you listen to this, anyone that's on GoDaddy, please fix this, because it's not 2026 friendly. We were trying to literally put a code. This is the most simple thing you can do on a website. We were trying to add a code to the head of the website. And technically what we wanted to do was to add a code so that we could have a pop-up on GoDaddy so that whoever comes to her website can pretty much submit their contact information through the pop-up. But guess what? GoDaddy does not allow you to put pop-ups. They have something called a lightbox, and it doesn't really do much for you. And that's the only option. I was like looking for custom code inject, and you talked about Squarespace too. That's what they call it, code inject. But on GoDaddy, they don't have that. So I've never seen a GoDaddy website that has a pop-up because GoDaddy does not even allow you to add external pop-ups. So my question is, how would you even use GoDaddy when they're not even giving you the full experience that you need as a website? They may want you to use their own content, but it's not going to be
They
scalable, you know?
the thing that so they do have pop-ups, but I'm hearing what you're saying. They're not the traditional pop-ups. They're not the effective pop-ups or what have you. But here's the thing. Okay, so I do intensive that are 5 figures, and I need to create a website that represents that. And GoDaddy does not give you the ability to do that. It just does not give you the tools to do it. And so, somebody's coming to your website and they're making that level of investment. It has to represent itself very well. So ask your question again real quick.
The question is, why would you use GoDaddy? This is before you even knew about it. I'm just saying in general, like if you're to use GoDaddy, why would you use GoDaddy when you know that if you're about to scale, there are things that GoDaddy, like you were saying, there are blocks. You can't even add
Yeah,
blocks.
so
It's
I'm
so
definitely
square.
not, yeah, so I'm definitely not going to go with GoDaddy going into as I'm building the new website. So I have all the stuff to put in that I know I want to put in. It's just actually deciding where I was going to go to create the website, but it's not going to be GoDaddy. GoDaddy, I started years ago when I was running a radio station. I mean, it was way back in the day. And it was just because it was simple and I didn't need much back then because we had a whole website for the radio station. So I didn't, my personal website didn't have to hold as much, you know what I'm saying? So, but now I am the complete business.
And definitely being a business and being a complete business, one area that I would say would be really good to look into website wise would be anything but GoDaddy, even hosting wise.
I appreciate you. I'm just kidding. I agree. It's horrible.
All I hear is MailChimp.
MailChimp and Go. Oh my Lord.
MailChimp.
But I lost 35,000 emails because they sent me an email and I lost 30. No, I lied. It was 73,000 emails. I'm dyslexic. I lost 73,000 emails because of MailChimp.
You see what I'm talking about, y'all?
Okay, I got to chime in on this one because you did not lose 73,000 emails because of MailChimp. You lost 73,000 emails because you did not download and save a backup of your email
And
list
you
every
spanked me,
month.
and you're
Okay.
absolutely right. And so, what was in the time, and this is an excuse, you just spanked me, and I appreciate it because I mean, in the future, I will be more diligent about it. But here, and this is a really good point because the time that happened was the time where I was taking care of my father, and I wasn't watching my emails the way that I normally would or should. So if you're not keeping up on that type of thing all the time, as Mark just said, you're gonna get burnt. And I burnt myself, and I completely accept that.
Mark, do you want to add on that, please?
Well, I'll add on the GoDaddy thing. GoDaddy's awesome at one thing: selling domain names and granting access and all of that. Like they have their act together on that. But that's such a low margin business. Everything else is them trying to make some money. And why do so many people go with that builder is because when you buy your domain name, I gotta build a website. And they have it right there. Oh, use our builder. It's awesome. And as we know, it is like of all of them, it is the worst. But no, so many limitations with the GoDaddy website builder, and And you might as well go use Squarespace. I mean, I'm not a fan of any of those platforms because you build a house on land you don't own. But but of all of the DIY builders, like GoDaddy's is absolutely the worst.
What would be your first choice?
WordPress, and own it yourself.
WordPress too. Yes, Rocky.
I don't want Mark to jump all over me, so I'm really scared to unmic, but I'm gonna say
The spanking don't. It only stings. It only stings for a minute, Rocky.
I know it only stings for a minute. Even me thinking about, for example, Go High Level. I've been on Go High Level, which I love Go High Level. No one's gonna make me hate Go High Level. I've had it for a while. It does everything, but guess what? Guess what? I got a phone call. Can y'all hear me? Okay, I was gonna say, I said, guess what? I can't even, if I wanted to leave, I can't even take my, I would literally have to download all this data, all my courses, all my workspaces, all these things. They literally have you stuck on that platform because it will take a lot for me to take all my stuff off of there because there's so many systems all within Go High Level. So I was thinking about that lately, man, and I can't stand WordPress, Mark. I cannot. I'm not good at WordPress. It's plugins. It's all kind of crap going on. I don't understand it. And I would hate to hire somebody to do it as well at the same time. But I want to love it, right? But when you think about being on certain websites like Go High Level, Wix, all these different things, you really don't own it. And if you wanted to get off of it, it's hell to get off of it because of how many years you've been on the platform. So just wanted to put that out there too.
Yeah, and no problem with High Level, other than it's like the Swiss Army knife, and it does everything. And just because you have a Swiss Army knife, sometimes you need a toolbox and not a Swiss Army knife. And then that's the limitation where it does everything okay. Like the leads automation is great. Like that's kind of where they got their start. But then they added on all of that other stuff. And I mean, the website builder, you can, I would rank it up there with GoDaddy's as far as they all look the same. But it's really not really a website builder. It's a funnel builder. And for that, I guess it's fine. But I mean, you can spot a high level website a mile away.
That part.
I just want to say that Favour helped my website, and I'm getting mad local traffic now. So it's trash, but it's working in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to take up too much space. When you're talking about WordPress, I mean, I've been there before. Like Rocky was talking about the plugins and all that. Like I just don't. Yeah, and then to work with somebody. I want to update it constantly. Like I don't know. Turmoil. Sorry.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do in your real job, both of you? We know what Favour does in his real job. What do the two of you do?
I have a marketing agency.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a psychotherapist. And yeah.
Okay, let's pick on that one. All right. So many businesses, and actually the marketing, we'll pick on that one too. It's like you are professionals. Both of you are professionals. Your biggest competitor is the DIYer. The DIY my own mental health, my DIY my own marketing, and anytime somebody wants to DIY it, you have all of the answers as to why they shouldn't and why they should trust the professional to do it right. And I see this. I come out of the wedding space, as Favour knows, and I work with a lot of wedding pros who are really, really good at what they do. And the same thing, they are always warning people against the pitfalls of DIY when it comes to planning their wedding. But those same people, all of them, they preach the pitfalls of DIY. Then they turn around and try to do their own website and do their own SEO and do stuff that it would be done way better if you took your own advice and worked with a professional for something that is as important as your website, that is like the hub of everything about your business. So So I'm going to stop scolding you all, but I'll shut up. But
I mean, and that sounds good, and it makes sense. I am agreeing. Don't you think I'm disagreeing? However, to the average person, they don't know that.
Yep, that's a good point.
Yep. I'm getting leads every freaking day, and I get traffic every freaking day, and people booking me for calls every freaking day. Unless they are somebody like you, Mark, they would not say, "Oh my gosh, she's DIYing her website." No, they just need a service, and they're hitting me up.
And
So
you're
right
getting that
now,
you're getting that through your website?
yes, ask Favor. He checks my search engine, my search console.
Well, no. Okay. All right. Let's clarify one thing. You're not getting anything from your website. People don't just magically find your website. There are 3 ways that you can get to a website. Only 3 ways. Number 1 is to type in the URL. Number 2 is to get a link, find a link on somewhere else, somebody else's website to your site, whether it's a directory, a blog, or a backlink or whatever. And the 3rd way is being found in search. That's it. Those are the only 3 ways. So if Favour fixed anything, he didn't make your website better. He made your SEO better so that people are going to
Correct.
it. But they're not just finding it. Nobody's just finding it.
Correct. But my point was, from what you're saying about comparing the DIYing it, and we're DIYing our own stuff, to the basic comic average person, they're not thinking that. They're thinking they need a service, and they found someone that provides a service. Like that judgment.
And that's good, depending on the level of your competition.
Correct.
And I work with a lot of people in highly competitive categories. And if you are trying to look professional, and if you're trying, particularly in a competitive market, if you're trying to look professional, I work with a lot of wedding planners who are like the ultimate sellers of attention to detail, because that's what they do. But then when their website has 0 attention to detail, it is hindering you in convincing people that you're awesome. And that is, that's kind of, I'm in a marketing business too. We end up building a ton of websites just because that's the weak link in most of our clients' marketing is their website, because all roads lead to it, and we make some magic happen. But having a pretty website is only part of it. And as Favour, doing the Search Console and learning, how people are finding you and your analytics and all of that stuff. Like, you don't know how many websites I audit that don't even have that. They wouldn't know analytics if it bit them in the ass. And they have no idea how, but they focused on having a pretty site without focusing on the more important part, is how people get to it and what's happening under the hood.
I think that's me. It's not that pretty, but it's effective.
And if it works, that's fine. At some point, your competition's going to level up, and then it won't be fine. But I mean, if it's working for you, but hey, if it looked a little better, how much better could it work for you? That's always a question.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not debating what you're saying. I think it makes perfect sense. But right now it's doing great for me in this moment. But I've even said it, like, I'm even looking at, oh my God, how do I get off a Go High level? Because, man, I'm trapped. And eventually, WordPress, but I'm not going to manage it. And until I can afford someone that can manage it for me, then I'll move over. Yeah, because it's not a cheap thing. I've been there before.
Well, WordPress is free. Get WordPress and then put a good builder on top of it.
I couldn't even do my own stuff on WordPress. It was through Elementor or something like that, and I had no clue what to do. I couldn't even post a blog because I didn't know how.
Well, that's why there's YouTube videos and ChatGPT.
Don't laugh at me, Curious.
Mark.
Don't laugh at me, Curious.
I mean, Elementor is decent. We use Divi, and they have new Divi 5, which is the building experience. So we use WordPress as kind of the foundation, and then we put a builder on top of it, which then gives you the kind of Squarespace experience with a lot more bells and whistles. And the plugins, it's like, don't be scared of plugins. Plugins are like save you a lot of time by people building stuff better than you can build it on your own. Although you theoretically can build everything that you can do with a plugin, but plugins are are golden, and there's millions of them. But no, don't be scared of WordPress. I mean, right now, our company, we're building 27 websites right now, and we built only 22 all of last year, and we're building like 27, 28 right now. I built my first website 4 years ago. Everything was self-taught. I got a team now, but like I can go build. I don't have time to build now because I'm managing my team, but it's not that hard, but it takes time. And it's a matter of, I mean, we're selling websites for 4,000 to 15,000. Most of them are in like the 5,000 or 6,000, which we're the shortcut to the goal of you need a website, you want to invest in your business, you can do it yourself, you can learn how to do it. You can spend we spend 100 hours on a site, you'll spend 200 figuring it out. No shame. Like some people just can't spend the 5 or 6 grand to get it, but we're the shortcut to the goal of getting it done quicker. And that's, and AI builders for websites. I mean, we are certainly not building our company on building websites. Right now, we got a lot of demand, but in 3 years from now, AI will build you a decent website. It's not there yet. I've tested out all these AI website builders and they're not ready for prime time. I would not stake my business on it, but there is, that is around the corner. So I'm not fooling myself that that's going to be a career. Not that I need another career, but that's a short-lived thing. But we're providing a very good service to people. Like, know they need it. They don't have time to mess around with it, and they just pay us to do it. And nothing wrong with that.
Mr. Mark, can I ask you another question? Probably going to get spanked again. I'm all right with it.
I'm fine. It's
all
all
right.
in the all.
So
in the,
here,
I'm all wanting to help us be better.
Mark over here whooping our ass.
Spank it. Okay. So yeah. So my analytics this is when the website was going. But my analytics were like, okay, the main question is my analytics. I was getting a lot of like hits, but I think I had too many subjects under the website. So I had, yes, my sessions or what have you, but I've done things in music. I've done things in all these different areas, social justice, like all these different areas. I had it all under one website. Is that going to hurt me? Should I have different website domains and different websites for each? Favor. I see your hundreds.
That's a tough question. If they're related,
that's a lot of time. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, why else would I get so many hits, but not as much?
Hits don't mean anything. Conversions.
Talk to me.
Is what matters.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You want to look at. If you put something like Clarity on your website or Hotjar on your website, then you can see what people do. I mean, you can get analytics to do this too, like what pages do they visit, how long are they staying on those pages. I am not a fan of having a quantity of pages that are not being seen, because Google allots you a certain amount of bandwidth to crawl your site. And let's say they, for a smaller site, let's say they give you 20 pages. They're going to crawl the first 20 pages they find. If your important pages are in a universe of 100 pages and your 20 important pages are there, there's a good chance that they're not going to get crawled. And I don't know what those numbers are, and maybe Favour has the answer to that, but there is a limit as to how much bandwidth Google will invest in you to crawl your website. And so you want to make sure that your important pages are prominent, and I wouldn't just fill up the site with a bunch of unrelated stuff. But I mean, the good news, it does not take that much to build a second website. If it's a completely different thing, I would say build a second one. And from a customer experience, who is going to win? The specialist or the jack of all trades? You start piling too much other stuff on there, and I'm not going to believe you that you're a specialist in anything. You're a jack of all trades, throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall, and that is not a that is not a that's not a good thing, because if I'm the specialist will always win, and
I
so
appreciate that, Mark.
I
No,
think
because I asked the question because I feel it because I'm not making any money in the other areas. You know what I mean? Like even with the music, when somebody goes and listens to the one track I have now, there's more coming out, but I get like 0.003 cents or something crazy, something like that. I mean, my main business is obviously being a psychotherapist. So then those other things, I could direct to another website, but I don't. I just have a different website for those things. And that's what I was feeling, but I feel like that's what you verified. Am I correct?
yeah. And if one makes you the money, focus on that. Put everything else over in some website that is just there for your sandbox or whatever you want to play around. And but I think that if it is your livelihood, it deserves its own website, and it will strengthen your credibility when that is all that you do. Because you're coming to me like, I'm good at this, and I'm also a musician, and I also do this, and I also have a store, and I have this, and I'm a marketer, and I'm a coach, and I'm a consultant, and whatever. You throw all that stuff out there, and I'm not going to believe that you're good at anything. That's just consumer behavior. That has nothing to do with SEO. That is just the consumer likes the specialist, and I think that is where if that is your bread and butter, then that should be by itself.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome.
Mark, you came for everybody today. But I love it.
I
I
haven't
love
come for
it.
you yet, Favour. Let me see if I can come up with something.
We're talking about this. You talked about the crawl budget, and I mentioned earlier that Google shut it down from 15 megabytes to 2 megabytes. Just think about you having a floppy disk or a flash drive or a hard drive, and you can't put a lot of things in that you could before, and it can't fit. You can't stick nothing is going on. So you just wonder what's going to happen. You have to figure out another solution. I also got to see that PDFs, they've given PDFs about 64 megabytes worth of data. That might sound like a lot, but when you add the number of pages, images, and content in your PDF, that could also change. Of course, it could be small if it's just text only, but 64 MB compared to 2 is different. So WordPress, I would say, is a good way to go because it's open source compared to Wix, Squarespace, the rest of them, Duda, Tilda, there are many out there, GoDaddy too, and they're closed source. So you have to, and Shopify as well, you have to pay for subscription or pay a premium and then pay for the actual platform itself. Coach is like telling my age. So you think about these things and you ask yourself, where are we going to put our content today? Right? And we're talking about Pinterest too. Pinterest is a place where you can store your content forever. Think about like when you're buying storage at a storage house or storage unit and you're just paying for that storage space every month or every other week. It's the same thing with Pinterest, but just imagine that is living for 5 months and beyond, over and over and over and over and over again. So why we're bringing this today and why Google search indexing is important is because when you have a Pinterest business account and you have a Google search console, that's a perfect blend between the two. Why? Because when you have a created concept of building consistent content over and over and over again on your social media, Pinterest now becomes the anchor that actually helps your business grow, because you're not just using social media for search traffic or for engagement. You're using it for validity, you're using it for credibility, you're using it for sustainability. These are the things that are going to keep your business alive and steady in 2026. And if you're not using these platforms and depending on other platforms to show up online, it's going to be a hard knock life. And you don't want that for yourself. You want to have things, you want to have the soft life, you want to be cool, you want to make sure that you're showing up online, be in the right places at the right time. Facebook is great. Instagram is great. Pinterest is great. LinkedIn is great. None of these platforms are terrible. They all have amazing people. In fact, billions of people on Facebook. There's almost a billion users almost on Pinterest. Right now it's 619 million, and it keeps going up and up every time. But here's the thing that I wanted to make sure that you guys can know about, because I'm sure not everybody uses Pinterest and not everybody's on Google search. When you think about the Google search indexing, and why I even brought this room today, is if you go to your Google search console and you have one, it's free. If you've connected it, you will see on the left hand side of your console, there's a section at the bottom that says links. When you click on links, right, you're going to see external links, internal links, and top linking sites. When you go to the top linking sites, look at the sites that are linking back to your domain. If Pinterest is one of them, you're in good hands. If it's not, you can use other platforms, but Pinterest will give you a much heavier lift. That's why I was talking about how we improved a client's impressions on their search console within the web from 5.93 million to 11.4 million. They had 41.3K clicks. Now they have 55.1K clicks in about 3 months. If you compare that to the image, I'm doing it right now, they had 54.1 million impressions with 68,000 clicks on in the last 3 months, and this is image wise, and we've bumped them up from 54.1 million impressions to 154 million impressions in the last 3 months. We've not spent a single dollar on ads. Zero, zero, zero. All of this is organic, and we moved them up from 68K clicks to 117K clicks. It's still a lot way to go. It's still a very long way to go. This is like scratching the surface. But for the very mere fact that we go to top linking sites, when we kicked off with their account, they had barely no linking sites on their account based on Pinterest. And now, if we look at their target pages, Pinterest is in the top 3. The first one is a large website. The second one is Reddit. The third one is Pinterest. They're also on Wikipedia, but Pinterest is showing up before Wikipedia on their platform. And that's how they're generating all that on Pinterest. So people say, oh, if I put it on Pinterest, are people going to see it on Google? Yes. Why? Because Google Images is technically Pinterest. So if you're using Pinterest for search and every pin you have on your Pinterest is linking to a page, that's going to be traffic for you. So don't think about Pinterest and think it's just a place to post and ghost. Think about Pinterest as a place to actually set your mark, set the intention, set the search intention. Because using Pinterest and SEO is one of the best things you can do for your business in 2026. Because when people are visual and you're impacting people visually, you don't have to worry about what you're writing or what you're saying, because they've felt it emotionally, they felt it psychologically. Now it's the logic that's going to make them decide whether to work with you or not. So the ball is always going to be in their court and not yours. You can just provide the court, you can provide the balls, you can provide the nets, but they're the ones that are going to shoot those 3-pointers. And if they score and you're part of that scoreboard, great. And speaking of scoreboards, if you want to learn about how your SEO is doing, click the link above and click on quiz. And when you finish that quiz, let's have a conversation. It's going to be a 5-minute, I can call it quiz, that you can take. There are 10 questions and they're very, very quick. So when you click the link above, click on quiz and check it out. And I'd love to see your results from there, because you're going to have one of the 3 results at the end of the quiz. So I hope this is helping you and giving you insight as well. Stupid said, I helped design Pinterest. That's great. That's really great. I don't know if it's Pinterest, the platform itself, but either way, kudos to you. John, what's up? Glad you're here. It's been a minute. How are you? How have you been? And welcome to the room.
I'm doing well, thank you, Favour. I'm on my evening walk. I saw you had a room. I figured I'd jump in. Pinterest is one of these overlooked platforms that a lot of people take advantage of. And Favour knows I'm going to say this. So one of the things, if you have a Pinterest business page, which is free, you can set it up where it ingest all of your Instagram content. So every time I post to Facebook, it goes to Instagram. I'm getting exposure on 3 platforms after 1. And it costs me absolutely nothing. So you too can do this as well. Thank you.
Thank you, John. It's so true. Pinterest is like a saving place. Let me say it that way. It's a saving place because you put content, people save it, people click it, people find it, and people discover you. And 97% of the searches, about 96 to 97% of the searches on Pinterest are unbranded. So you don't even have competition. You might be saying, oh yeah, I want to rank against this, that. That's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's TikTok. You're looking for brands, you're looking for status, you're looking for credibility, go to those platforms. Pinterest, you're looking for ideas, you're looking for inspiration, you're looking for decision making. I can call them items that you want to focus on. If you're planning a wedding, I can only imagine, Mark, how many times people have told you about Pinterest when they're, trying to find their wedding dress or trying to look for an event or look for decor, and they mention Pinterest in the conversation. Not that Pinterest is the place to go, but that's where they're starting from, or that's where they're ending up at some point in their journey. So it's a place where people can save content. But if you don't use that content, like John said too, and link your social media back, it's going to be hard long term. If you have let me say it this way too, just to give you some insight on Pinterest. If you write a blog on Pinterest consistently, let's say you do one blog a week at the very least, right? Let's say you spend 2-3 hours and you posted one blog a week. Let's say that blog has 5 images, right? Those 5 images can end up on Pinterest without you having to lift a finger on Pinterest. Why? Because within Pinterest, there's a section that allows you to connect your RSS feed. And RSS stands for really simple syndication. When people hear RSS feed, they automatically think podcast, yes, but also RSS feed is also technically your website. So when you connect your RSS feed to Pinterest and the back end, if you had 5 images in that one article, all those 5 images are going to show up on your Pinterest account automatically, because you once upon a time connected your RSS feed to Pinterest. If you connected it to Instagram, same thing's going to happen. You post on Instagram, you have a copy on Pinterest. That's why I said it's a saving place, because you can save a lot of content and people can still find you on Google indirectly because you posted on Pinterest. That's the whole point of indexing. So if you have that consistently on your platforms, you'll do so well if you use Pinterest. It may sound daunting, but the best place to start is by understanding what the platform does for you, and also ask yourself, am I going to see this happen for me consistently, or am I just using this to pass time? Because like Dr. Jean said earlier, she doesn't use social media or doesn't like it, and there are a lot of people who don't even use social media, or even like TikTok. I'm not on there. Facebook, I'm not on there. Some people are not on social media. We're 8.1 or zero point 0.2 billion people in the world. And I was looking at a search study that was being done, and about 6 billion people haven't used AI in the world. Between 5 and 6 billion people haven't used AI in 2026. So what are we talking about? Us that are using this early, that we're excited about it. Imagine the people who have never even downloaded the ChatGPT app, or in a country somewhere in the world have never made a prompt, that are yet to. So we're so far ahead, guys, that if we really think about what we're doing today and we just do the right things early, we will always end up at the right place at the right time for the right people. And Pinterest is that place that you want to be on. It's not hard. It's just a matter of being consistent with your quality and your consistency in delivery. If you post content consistently, people will find you. If you post it on Facebook, if you post it on Instagram, great. But if you take that same content off of those platforms to your website and then back into Pinterest, you're going to be on Google. You're going to be on YouTube if you have YouTube there. People watch YouTube videos on Pinterest. People watch different things on Pinterest. I remember putting a video. This was very random. This is so random, guys. I put a video. This was when Drake did a song. I can't remember the song he did with Lil Durk some time back. And he was in the basketball court. That's one of, if you guys watched that video, you might remember the song I'm talking about. And I put a little clip of, I think it was Drake, like just shooting hoops in a basketball ring. I think that was at his house. And it was on Instagram. I took that that TikTok rather. I took that TikTok video, downloaded it, took off the watermark, put it on Pinterest, linked it back to the TikTok video that I got it from, and then just let it fly. And till today, we're talking 2026, that video is still getting impressions, it's still getting links. It has nothing to do with anything. But here's the thing. When you realize that UGC content is showing up, it's another way of telling you what your audience actually likes. This is the kicker. Because if I post that content and people like basketball, people like shorts, people like summer, people like spring, people like music, then that tells me that even though they don't like or don't know about SEO or know about this or that, it already tells me that my audience is interested in a certain type of sport. If I put tennis there or golf and I got completely different results, I'll also know the same thing too. So no content is going to waste. If you can understand and demystify what this content is supposed to tell you, then it's easy for you to decode and then come back and say, okay, I know why this content did well because this and this is happening. It may not even be a direct relation to your business, but because it's part of the ecosystem and it's part of what you're creating, it's going to be much better for you. So why am I giving you these examples is that if you're writing content, use it for the right reasons. Just that's why Instagram right now have created reposts. You can repost on Instagram. TikTok has been doing that for the longest. You can repost on LinkedIn as well. Welcome, Shira. You can repost on LinkedIn as well. So if you can repost on these platforms, you can retweet, right? We used to do that before. You can now repost. You can do that on Threads. Why is there a repost? It's there for a reason. So that repost, that remix is there on social media for you to also be part of the ecosystem. So if you're creating content and you're talking about A, but you bring content that is so unrelated and it's talking about F, but if F is connected to A, then some way there's going to be I can call it a correlation between the two, because you can say, oh yeah, I like cooking videos, or I like rabbit videos, or I like, you know, car videos, or I like this, or I like that. Those are the things that you like. They may not like it, but if they like what you like, that's a match. And that match takes time. You may never know until it happens. So don't just post randomly because you're trying to figure out what's happening, but focus on your content and think, okay, this is my primary content. What is my secondary content? And what is my tertiary content? If I can put all those things together, then it makes it even easier for me to see the long-term effect of what I'm creating. Because when I use Pinterest, when I use Google, when I use marketing tactics, when I use tutorials, these are the things that will help you know that Pinterest is not just a social media platform, it's a search engine. Yes, laugh now, cry later. I was like, it was at the top of my tongue. Yes, thank you, Timmy. Laugh now, cry later. That's the music video. And if you watch it, you will see it. So the fact that even Timmy, thank you for saying that, I explained the video without even mentioning the name of the song, tells you how visual we are as people. So just looking at that in itself alone tells you that when you're creating your content, don't write content or just post content because you haven't posted in a long time. Like, for example, here in this Pinterest and SEO marketing house, I haven't opened a room here for the last 3 years. And I felt like, why not do it today? And look at us, we're here. If you have a pink ticket, please cash it in. And at the very top, click Pinterest and SEO marketing and join the house. Because this has been here consistently, but I'm always in the marketing club. But I said, no, let me switch it up today and talk about Pinterest since I'm very specific to the topic. And here we are. I thought it was just going to be me in the room alone, honestly. So I figured, let's just do it. But now look, we're all here. We're all having a great time. So thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere else in the world doing something different from being here, but you're here. So I thank you for being here too. And if you have any question, please put in the chat. We're going to wrap this up in the next 14 minutes so I can let you guys get your time back and spend time with your family and your loved ones and have some dinner and enjoy your evening as well. So I wanted to make sure we can kick off the week the right way. What's up, Shira? How are you? Thanks for being here. Anything that you'd like to say, comments, suggestions? We'd love to hear from you. The floor is yours.
Oh, you're so sweet, Favor. As always, I try to come in and support you whenever I see you. I haven't seen you in a while, but I do see some familiar faces. Um, Pinterest, of course, is something I have not done. But in terms of SEO and Google search indexing, I think that's very important. It wasn't something I learned in the beginning of my business 5 years ago. I'm in the middle of scaling an automated stage, so that's where I'm at, becoming more of the architect and less of the coaching piece directly. So that's where I'm at, Favor. I'm in a different stage at this point. But the one thing I will say is you said something that I think is interesting. You said you haven't been here for 3 years. I haven't posted consistently in almost a year. And that's a big deal for me because I was someone that posted 6, 7 platforms for about 6 or 7 years. And I'm gonna tell you where I found it to be that it kind of compounded itself. Even though I haven't posted for that long, I still get clients. People still look for me. There's definitely something to say with having evergreen content and the longevity of it, and being consistent with your messaging over time, that people will still look for you. I haven't posted, like I really haven't posted consistently in a long time. And on LinkedIn, I haven't posted for maybe about a month or so, but I'm getting several leads from there nonetheless because people still look for me. Only thing I do right now is go live on TikTok once a week, sometimes twice, but rarely. It's like once. And people still look for me. There's just something to say about building that trust with people over time. And it's not an easy thing to do at first, being consistent. As much as I needed to take a break, and I did. But what I found in taking that break, um, it did create a sense of FOMO because people are used to me showing up like I was. But what I found, the beautiful part of the work I had done over the years, is that it supported itself through people, through word of mouth, still knowing who I am and having an impact in the space that I'm in. So I would just want to tell people that if you are posting content, or if you're just starting posting content, don't think that no one's watching. I actually had a lead that, she was 18 years old. She had been watching me for 5 years. She is now graduating with her master's in social work. And she just became my client, had been watching me since she was in college. And that's been as long as my company's been around, 5 years. There's definitely something to say with people in content posting. You don't know who's there, who's watching. You have no idea. But, keep putting out your message and just being consistent with it no matter what. We all have those moments where we've had imposter syndrome. It's like, oh, who's going to see this? And I'm telling you, when you have a message that is not just about making money, it's about the impact that you leave on people, because you can't take the money with you, right? But you leave the impact of the work through the service that you provide. That becomes what your legacy becomes. So just wanted to say that out loud. I think that's very important, because I know when I started my business 5 years ago, it was about helping someone because I had a similar issue passing exams. Didn't think I would still be here 5 years later, still love what I do, and watch my colleagues make a transformation of it. I am exhausted, tired. I can't do this till it's done. But that's what I wanted to say. I hope someone takes that message, that no matter what, keep putting out your message, even when you think nobody's watching, because someone is. That's it.
Thank you, Shara. It's so true. Somebody is watching your content. You reminded me of a post I did on LinkedIn, and somebody liked the post 3 years later. And I was like, wait, when did I write this? So I know exactly what you mean. When you write content for the people and you're writing content for the future. Because most times we post content thinking, oh, it's just going to last for the day or for the week. Yet we have a whole year ahead of us, a whole decade ahead of us. And if we can just post the right things for the right people, they'll find us. We're not looking for them. We're not trying to say buy me or sign up or do this. Eventually they will, if they have to, if they need to, but it's not going to be a requirement or mandatory for them to do so if they don't need to. So I love that you mentioned that, Shara. Very, very important to look into that too as well. So we have to think about content on a consistent basis, but also the right content to put out is important. And one way you can tell whether your content is working or not is if you're getting impressions. Thank you, Peace. If you're getting impressions, if your impressions are going up, then it means that you have somebody interested. I mean, if you're impressed by someone doing something, you're interested, even though you may not want to do it. Your heart is impressed, your mind is impressed, your eyes are impressed, because you feel like, okay, that's something I haven't seen in a while, or that's something that actually makes me happy. So using that is a good way to create content and allowing people to answer those questions for themselves. Knowing that people have a short attention span, at least the first 3 seconds should allow them to hook in and say, okay, is this you looking for this and that? Ask them the question and then let them respond back to you if you give them the call to action as well. So Appreciate you for that, Shara. If you click the link at the top, I want to give you guys full transparency because I also want to tell you where we're going in 2026. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try some new things. And it worked. And it took me about 2 hours to put it together. And I kept on testing. And I said, okay, I'll bring it to Clubhouse today. What you see at the top is an SEO scorecard. And I used AI to put this together, right? Just to give you full transparency, but everything is working and everything is solid. I wouldn't bring something to you that is half solid or half liquid. It has to be a full state. So when you look at this link at the top, when you click it, if this is you, if you want to find out what your SEO scorecard is, answer these questions. They're multiple choice. You don't have to think or write. Just click and move to the next one, the next one, the next one till you get to the 10th one. Once you hit the 10th one, put in your contact information and you will get your score. You'll get an email. And then if you want to get on a call with me, there's a link there that will book a discovery call so we can talk about what you saw in your report. Why am I doing this? Because I know that a lot of people have questions and I want to answer them in a way that's specific to your need. I can't just answer a question and generalize it. If that question is specific, oh, your website is slow, or you don't have robots txt, oh, your sitemap is truncated, oh, you don't have impressions, oh, this is happening, I'll be able to know that after I hear your response. The way it's the same, you go to a doctor, you go to a lawyer, you go to somebody who is an expert, you're asking them questions to help you, but they're going to ask you questions so that you could help them help you. So that's the same thing with this SEO scorecard. So it's the first time I'm talking about this ever live publicly. I'm going to send this out to my community within the email list, but I wanted to send this to you first because I'm here. And if you want to try it out, please feel free and click it and see your score. Don't be mad at your score. Don't throw your score in the ground. It's just a score, and that score can change. The scoreboard can change, but it's your mental ability to change it that will make the change itself. So thank you so much for all these amazing questions. I think this has really given me some insights to learn more about what you guys need. I have about 15 topics that I'll be bringing to you. I have 15 topics I'll be bringing to you when it comes to Pinterest. So I'll just run through them. If any of them sounds interesting to you, just put the last word that I mentioned because you're hearing the same thing. So let me find I wrote it down so that you can actually hear me talk about this. Boom, found it. So I wrote this on March 7th at 7:53 a.m. Central Time. So here are the 15 episodes that what you've heard is one out of the 15 today. There's Pinterest SEO marketing tutorial for podcast hosts. So just put in the chat which one sounds like the one that you want to hear more. I just want to do a quick poll. Podcast hosts, Pinterest SEO marketing tutorial for e-commerce product business, Pinterest SEO marketing tutorial for service businesses, the same for local businesses, the same for restaurants, the same for advertising, the same for organic marketing, the same for real estate, the same for interior design, the same for A/B testing. I know it's a lot. The same for AI visibility. We've talked about search indexing for Google. We're also going to talk Bing search indexing. And then there's also for coaches and for churches. So out of the ones that you've heard, you can put in the chat the one that resonates the most with you. But majorly what I'm going to be doing is to talk about Pinterest SEO marketing and hear your thoughts and hear what you want to see, because in your mind, as you're visualizing things, you want to also see them happen in reality. So using Pinterest, it will be one great visual way for you to actually gain that. And by doing that consistently, you'll be so much ahead. Because think about it. Today is March 9th. At least you've posted once somewhere on the internet. At least once. It can be Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. You've posted somewhere once. Now imagine if that one post is a post that you actually can still be benefiting from year over year over year over year over year. So it's a lot of information, but I want to make sure that you're getting it. And if you have a pink ticket, if you want to hear this again, either two options. You can click on my face, and then when you click on my face to the right, you're going to see 3 dots. You'll see notification settings and turn it to always on or always, so that when I'm here, you can also listen to me and we'll have a conversation. I'm also in the marketing club as well. Or you can click at the very top that says Pinterest and SEO marketing, And that way you will be able to be here in the house and cash in your pink ticket as well. So these are very important topics. And I feel like these topics are going to help a lot of people understand the volume of what we're talking about. And the more we're able to understand it, the better we can explain it to other people. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Despina, for that. I now see Dr. Jean says podcast service, organic marketing, index Google today, therapist. Yeah, we should definitely do one for therapists too, for sure. And it's just a lot of search indexing going on, but I wanted to make sure that at least today we could bring this information to you. And it's not hard, because every time I talk to somebody about Pinterest, I'm not even surprised anymore, because people say Pinterest is so hard. Pinterest is so daunting. It's so much. And in my head, I'm like, the same thing applied to your car the first time you drove it. The same thing applied to the first time you wrote the alphabets. So it's not hard. It's just how can you look at it with it being a glass half full as opposed to a glass half empty. It's all in your mind. If you move from stick shift driving to automatic driving to selfless driving, that's because there was a mind shift. It's the same thing with Pinterest. You don't have to post all there, because people say, oh, you got to post every day, every day. Not really. If you post on your, let me say it this way. If you post on Instagram once, ends up on Pinterest. You post up on your article, it ends up on Pinterest. You've done enough for the week. Because that post in itself, when someone's looking for it 60 days from now, 120 days from now, you'll be right there. Welcome, Tony. So if you're creating content consistently, your goal is not just to write content. Your goal is to produce content that will last or outlast what you've done in that space of time. So you're not just creating content because you want to show up online. You want to show up online for the right reason. If you don't post, and your last post was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's driving the sales, it's driving the value, it's driving the conversions, that's great. That tells you that you can do more of what you did before. But if it doesn't, then you can go back to the drawing board and start it again. So if you think about Google search indexing and Pinterest, just think about long term. This is not a short term race. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. It takes a while to get there, but with Pinterest, I can guarantee you that with Pinterest, it just takes a little bit of some push. Give it 6 to 12 months. Give it 6 to 12 months. Like, just give it 6 to 12 months. You will see, especially if it is something that you have put in and you're letting it cook. Because Pinterest is not just going to show up and say, oh yeah, now we're on Pinterest, let's do this. People are spending time looking for information. But if your information is valuable and it's coming from your website, and you have a blog, you have a product, you have a service, you have an FAQ, you have something that's going to be helpful to the person that's listening or looking through it, it will help long term. Because the lifespan of a post on Pinterest is 3.5 months to 5 months. So if we're talking about 5 months for one, and then you have a couple of them, just think about what will happen in the 6th month. It's kind of like when you think about germination. If you plant a seed and you know it's going to germinate in 12 months, then you know that the 11th month is when it's going to have its highest transformation, or have its highest, I can call it buffer mode, all the way to the 12th month. And then in the 12th month, at any time, it's there. But it's been cooking for 11 months. So you have to think about it from that perspective, and it will help you as well. Leo says 6 to 12 months. Hello. Yes. 6 to 12 months is the idea. And I don't mean 6 to 12 months sparingly, like post once today and then 2 weeks and then 5 weeks from now. That's not going to get you anywhere. Posting consistently, whether it's coming from your website or coming from your social media, that's why when you post on Instagram and it goes to your Pinterest, that's still considered as a post. If you have an RSS feed on your Pinterest, that's still considered as a post, because it is there to be seen. It's there to be clicked on. So Pinterest is not a platform that you just say, okay, I'm just going to do Pinterest. You have to plan it out. You have to see, okay, what are we doing with Pinterest? Why are we even using Pinterest in the first place? And if we're using Pinterest, what is it doing for our website on the back end? You may not see it on the front end, but you will definitely see it on the back end, because you have a backbone. Not many businesses use Pinterest. Not many. And the ones that do, they're able to see it after a year, after 2 years. If the lifespan of a blog is 24 months, and you know that in 24 months, you can still benefit from this blog, you can still benefit from this article, that's 2 years overtime you have at your disposal. But if you're just thinking about creating content, Eventually the content will do its thing, but you also want to make sure that you're doing your part. So that's something I wanted to just mention today so that we can look into these things when we're thinking about where we want to go in 2026. It takes a while to get there, and it's I would say slow and steady wins the race, but at the same time you have to be very meticulous and tactical in your delivery. That way you're able to show up online long term. So we'd love to hear from anyone. Question, thoughts before we go. What are you thinking about Pinterest? And is it a lot? Is it a little? Is it enough? Where are we?
It sounds like it's going to be a journey, but it's one that's definitely worth it. And I look forward to it. You just astounding me with all that you're saying. And just to add on to the list, I'm wanting to know if blogging is as relevant, today. I don't know where that would fall in here or the marketing room, but that's something I'm definitely interested in. But just amazing information. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I messaged you.
Thank you, Dr. Jen. Yes, that message was definitely like, I said, okay, I'll do it and I'll make sure that I'm here because I want to make sure I keep to my word and I'm consistent and I'm showing up and I'm here for you. And as you're learning from me, I'm also learning from you. The more I know things, the more I don't know. I don't know a lot of things. Trust me, I don't know a lot of things. But the things I know, they're enough to help whoever is listening grow or take them to the next level because I learn from you more than you learn from me. You can say the same thing for yourself, but at the end of the day, it's going to be how much you're taking in and how much you're putting into action that you want to take in as well. Leo has a question. Please feel free. I actually invited you up, so I don't know if you got the request, but please ask the question in the chat. If you can't come up, then that's fine too. Okay, you made it. What's up, Leo?
Hello, Favour. How are you? Thank you, Favour, for all what you said. What you said is amazing. First thing I would like to say, English is not my first language, so I'm sorry if I made a mistake while I was speaking. I would like to ask a question if you allow me, please. Thank you so much. I think most of the people here are familiar with a website called Digistore. It's similar to ClickBank, where people add their products and other people promote these products. I found some products like Ted Woodworking and Joseph Well talking about how to create a device to absorb the water from the air or something like that. And I like Pinterest so much. I just would like to know if I keep posting posts for this type of product for woodworking or Joseph Well, how much time should I wait to see a result? Because I feel that there's a huge blur in this area, and sometimes I feel I should wait a week or a month or I don't know. So this is just this question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leo. That's a great question. With Pinterest, it is a very, I can call it sophisticated platform, but it's also very rewarding, especially now, because as of February 27th, Google turned on public Discover Core update, which just means that Google is going to be prioritizing more local content, and it dropped from 15 megabytes to 2 megabytes. So if you're thinking about topical authority, Pinterest is a great place to be. Even if you're not using it as much as you're using Instagram, for example, at least let it be there. Let it be a place you can save. You know how you can save money? Save your content on Pinterest. That's how I would say it, because Pinterest is a place where you don't know when someone's going to look for your content and find it. Knowing that 97% of the searches are unbranded. So I'm not going to be there looking for Nike shoes or Dolce & Gabbana. I'm looking for Prada. I'm looking for this or that. I'm going to be looking for sweaters, joggers. I'm going to be looking for shoes. I'm going to be looking for socks. I'm going to be looking for drapes. I'm going to be looking for words that I have been using in my vocabulary to connect with people or talk about, but I'm not talking about the brand. If I talk about a brand, everybody's going to focus on the brand and not the actual product. If I say Louis Vuitton, everybody's mind is on Louis Vuitton, right? But we're not looking at the bags. We're not looking at the design. We're not looking at the fabric. We're thinking about the brand name. So when Pinterest decides to demystify and 100% decentralize search, It means that you can also show up online. YouTube is the most skipped ad platform, and Pinterest is the least skipped ad platform. I'll say that again. YouTube is the most skipped ad platform because people even pay YouTube TV to skip ads compared to Pinterest, where it is the least skipped ad platform. And people spend money on ads there. You can run ads consistently and you won't have to lift a finger on the platform. Now, to your question, Leo, about how long does it take? I can't answer that question because I can't say it takes 2 weeks and 2 days or it takes 12 months and 5 hours. That would be a lie, and I don't want to be a liar. So I would tell you it's majorly based on how much input and your domain authority is showing up outside. Because even though Pinterest is 97% unbranded, your brand is still important outside Pinterest. Because if they find your brand, it's a good thing. I'll give you an example. Pinterest merged, I wouldn't even say merged, they partnered with Amazon. You can Google this. Pinterest and Amazon had a discussion. The same way Google and Reddit did is the same way Pinterest did as well. And with Pinterest and Amazon, because Pinterest is a transactional platform, Amazon is a transactional platform. So your question would be, if you want to speed up that result, a good way to do it is by creating content on your website after you've claimed your website on Pinterest and Google, of course. When you do that, you now create an article on your site and you talk about the Amazon finds or the Amazon affiliate links that you have. Of course, have a disclaimer. In that disclaimer, let them know that, hey, anything you purchase from here, I will be getting a commission. That's integrity. That's transparency. That's honesty. That's ethics. That's compliance. So when you tell them that anything you purchase from this, if you purchase anything from here, I'm going to get a commission. Now the ball is in their court to choose whether they're going to purchase with you or not. But if your content is worth the purchase and your content is worth their time and money and energy to click, then yes, it's a great platform to use. And that way, let's say you go online and you figure out that, okay, these are the top things that people are looking for. Like right now we're in spring or going to spring. We've just had daylight savings in the US. So now people are thinking about, spring ideas or things to check out, or Easter. Before you know it, people are buying Christmas trees in April because people plan ahead. On Pinterest, people plan ahead. If you drop the P, it's interest. Pinterest is interest, literally. If you drop the P, it's interest. And if you take off the rest, it's pin. So if you really think about this word, it's a dichotomy in a way, because you look at Pinterest and you say, okay, I like what I see. I click it, I find it, I save it, I move on. So if you want to create consistent revenue, consistent flow of business in your website through your domain, then the answer to that question is to write articles, post it out, let your community see it. Don't just leave it there and let paint dry. Let people see it. Send them to those places. Send them to those exact links, because those are also IP addresses and proxies that you're sending to those pages, which actually transmit signals to your domain. So when you start seeing Amazon clicks, Pinterest clicks, website clicks, domain clicks, now you're in business. But that takes a while based on what you're seeing. You have to think about the age, think about the device, think about the location. There's so many things for you to think through. But if you just look at it from the perspective of creating content for conversions and also to start a conversation, then you can be better off actually creating content for the people than you thinking that what you're going to create is going to make them make a purchase. So the intent has to be different. You have to think about what they want, what they need. And if you like what they see at the very top, when you click on something, you get those little, I'll give you an example. When you go to Google and you type in something, go to images and then look at those little blocks at the top that give you like words. It can say social media marketing, it can say tools, it can say sales, it can say this, it can say that. All those different things are going to give your business the leg up. And that way you can be able to make more time, more money, and also more energy that is given back to you over time when you create content for people that are finding you through search. So there's a taste bud, and this is the last thing I'll say. There's a taste bud on Pinterest. There is interest, which I talked about, and there are keywords. When people are searching with keywords, they're searching based on the interest, and they're also in their early stage of purchasing. That's another thing. Instagram, Facebook, they may not be in their early stage. Pinterest, they are. Because if I'm looking for yellow drapes, that's a very early stage, because now I'm looking for yellow drapes that I couldn't find somewhere else. So it's an early stage. And if you have those, great. If you're looking for yellow socks, if you're looking for yellow blocks, yellow plants, whatever it is that you're looking for, that is going to be at the very beginning of their search. So by the time they're finding you in the midst of their search, then that's where that trust is increased, and it turns from a non-brand to a brand. So Leo, I hope that answered your question today. And that was a very good question you asked too. Thanks for being here today as well.
Thank you so much, Favour. I appreciate you and I appreciate your time you're giving us. Thank you so much, and it was amazing. Thank you.
You are welcome. Great question, Leo. This was good. I'm glad we covered this today, and I'm happy that we were able to have this conversation about Pinterest SEO marketing tutorial, Google search indexing. We'll bring more content like this to you. If you have any questions, please feel free. And I've always said that if you want to get in touch with me, please click the link at the top. This will take you to where you can fill in your information, join the newsletter, and I send out emails so you can get information like this. I get very detailed into my emails because I want you to be able to read it at your convenient time and understand concepts. So when we talk about things like this, it's not sophisticated. We can actually have a two-way conversation. And that's the best way to do it. If it's one way, then no way is going anywhere. But if it's two-way, you can turn into 4 ways, into 8 ways, into 16 ways, and it can compound. So thank you for being here, Dr. Jin, Mark, John, Shara, Mr. Chris, Coach Z, Dr. Fashion, Luan, Lisa, Deolu, Tracy, Timmy, Leo, Sack Black, Happy, Basha, and Just Questioning. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have any questions for me, please shoot me a DM. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll always respond back. At the very least, respond back through voicemail or voice message so that you can get the comprehensive version of your question, the answer that I'll provide. So until then, I hope you have a wonderful day. You're welcome, Deolu. I see the gift. Have a blessed day. Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy your week. And also happy Women's History Month. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. We appreciate you as men, and we hope you have a wonderful time, ladies and gentlemen. Till we meet again, good night and God bless. Bye. If you have reached this point of the episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. I hope this has helped you, given you some insight, because every time I come on here, or anytime I bring somebody on here, a guest, a speaker, anyone that is of relevance to you listening is always going to give you educational value, definitely entertainment value, and most importantly, empowerment value. So thank you for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show every day. And if you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me. Click the links in the description, or go to info@playinc.online, info@playinc.online, and book a call. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk SEO. Let's talk marketing. Let's talk business. Let's talk scaling. And I look forward to meeting you and learning more about you and your business. Till we meet in the next episode, have a blessed evening. Have a blessed day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now. And don't forget, Jesus loves you.